So the recording's up, and I will start with my premise. My premise is that I think Kenny will just basically outscale Shawn. Well, not just outscale. Well, not just outscale, but I just think Kenny might just have better stuff. That's my premise.
What do you mean better stuff? I don't
Like
understand.
speed, skill. Like it doesn't just have to be AP. It could be other stuff as well, like speed, like out blitz, out skill, maybe even out pace, out stamina, those
So do
type of
you
things.
so do you mean like Kenny would win overall?
Yeah, basically. Sorry, I should have just said that. Yeah, I just think Kenny would win. Be his stuff.
Okay, so Kenny win overall. Okay. Give me a second. Shoot. Oh, wait. God damn it, Kevin. Like, why are you bothering me? Wait. Oh, give me shoot. Shoot, God. Okay, I'm back now.
Alright,
So
yo.
basically my premise is that that Shawn can take out Kenny. Kenny can't do that, and any advantages that Kenny might have will be mitigated by what Shawn has. That's my premise.
Okay.
So do you want to like give your scaling first?
Alright, sure. So, okay, so, note a couple things. So, let me actually grab the video of the fight, because I
Are
actually
you
think,
about to show the Robbie? Are you about to show the Robbie fight?
yeah, the Robbie fight. Do you want that
Which
skin, or are you okay?
I
You cut off.
we can post it for the audience. Which part of the fight are you gonna post?
Alright, hold up.
Would you agree that would you agree that like the fight would you agree that like the fight before Kreese talked to Robbie would just be irrelevant to this debate, that it wouldn't help Kenny at all? Would you agree to that?
Yeah, I would agree to that, because Robbie was technically going like off guard. Like he wasn't like off guard. He was kind of like holding back because it was Kenny. He didn't want him to get hurt. So yeah, before Chris
Yeah,
talked to,
pretty blatant.
yeah. Okay,
I
so
have some video. I mean, sure,
I,
you can post a video. That's fine. You can post a video.
actually, never mind. If we're gonna like use that as irrelevant, I'm just gonna post this. So um, I would argue that Kenny was able to at least block and somewhat dodge a Robbie who was going all serious mode. It was done like holding back. And then I would also argue that this Robbie specifically was like not held back by fear anymore. And then
Based off the Terry Silver statement.
yeah, and basically, um, from the thing you said the last time about like, he was kind of get out of that fear from Shawn. The special thing about that was that that wasn't
I
Robbie's
didn't
fear. That
claim that
was,
in this debate. That what I said in there doesn't matter because the only one thing that matters right now is what I'm claiming in this debate.
all right, but okay. So and then Robbie's overall fear though was that he was afraid of becoming like Johnny, so he casually held himself back. So any other fear that was taken out, that would kind of be irrelevant to this type of fear. And then he loses this fear when fighting Kenny, but he still had it against Shawn. So probably would.
Okay, so basically, the issue was what I went to arise. Like, I don't necessarily like have an issue with him having him no longer like having that fear like as strongly. But the issue is that I don't think like Kenny like scales to it as much as you think he does, because what the thing he said is that he was going like all out. I don't believe he was going all out. What I think is actually shown in the fight is that like he wasn't like going all out using like everything he can, he's going fully serious, all that. He just like saw him as like a regular old opponent as opposed to what he did before. Because as we see when they first engaged in the fight, Robbie's just defending. He's just defending. He's not giving like any offense at all. This is relevant because at least in season 4, he combines like the defensive skills of Miyagi with the offensive skills of Cobra Kai, and he wasn't using any of that against Kenny. He was just treating him like a friend and not fighting back literally at all. This is why Kreese pulled him over. So basically, it wasn't that he was going all out. He decided to like look at him as an opponent. This is why John Kreese said, "Oh, are you fighting your friend or your opponent?" He wasn't going all out using his full capabilities because like he was basically toying with him. Because like for examples of this, because we see that like speed wise, right?
Yeah.
That he's able to like outspeed like Kenny like pretty easily, and he's just basically just toying with him. He's not taking him like fully serious. He's mainly like toying with him. Like, shoot, let me show like this clip and like this video
All right.
because like you have to let the video play while I'm getting because like the problem is that like when after like a few seconds after he blocked some of the strikes, like Kenny engaged him again, and then Kenny was literally unable to touch him. Like he wasn't able to land a single strike. Like it was so bad where it's like mid swing of Kenny, he was dodged that and slapped him on his back. Did the exact same thing with him and kicking, and he literally just stood there and let Kenny swung and just dodged him, just like walking back, watching him. He's basically torn with him. We compare this to fights with people who like he tried a bit more against, like with Dimitri and with Hawk, where he's not just doing that. He's more, especially with Hawk. Like this is a person I would say he was actually going on. He was using like all of his skills, like fighting his hardest. Like he even took off his shirt and everything as indication. So the problem with that is that like sure Robbie can have that, but Kenny doesn't really like fully scale to it like at all. Like he blocked a few hits, but like I just think it's because Robbie was throwing him. I don't think there's like any like real scaling to show the speed gap being like horrendous.
Okay. So let's see.
That was a lot of words. So tell me if you misunderstood what I was saying.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to kind of take that. Give me a second. Hold up. Just have to take that. Okay.
You're cutting out a bit.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Um, so first off, I do kind of want to bring up, that I maybe in the last like the text debate we had, but right now I never really said he was going all out. What I did say was that he was going like all type of serious mode. So that one part's kind of irrelevant. Like I didn't really claim that Robbie was going all out because I do understand.
I don't remember you saying. I remember you saying like okay, even if you say that like he was going like all serious, it's like it could be the same thing as like going all out or using all of your stuff. Which like even if I misheard you and said with the whole going all out part, you just now saying all serious would basically line the same thing. Because what I'm saying is that like he wasn't doing that because he was toying with.
So yeah, okay. So he was toying with him, right? But the thing with that was he was toying with him in a more type of serious way, right? Like you kind of see his emotions, you see his face, like like he's kind of going like serious and not really holding anything back. Well, he's holding some things back, but it's not like he's like fully holding back like in the first point. Like he's kind of like trying a bit more, dodging him a bit more,
Wait, but
like
that's
that.
not my contention.
I was just
My contention is not that like whether or not he was holding back more than he was before. I agree. As I said, I agree he was like taking him like somewhat seriously, but not fully seriously because he was viewing him as an opponent and not just like a little friend. Because like like he was actually trying to like beat him, which he was doing easily. But like the thing with if you compare that with Dimitri and with Hawk, he didn't really do the level of like towing around that like that like he did with Kenny. Like that's like the main part. Like because like he wasn't using his full capabilities because he was literally towing with him. And like unless I misheard you, I really do remember you saying like 5 seconds ago that like you agreed with me when you said he was toying with me. So I think that even helps my point.
yeah. I did say it was toying with him, but I also said like while putting like more power into it, like being serious. But then if that's the case, then I would still argue that this type this type of Robbie would still be better than the Robbie that fought Shawn. And let me explain. So basically, um now there's a few things we would have to note with Robbie fighting Shawn, right? You have the fear nerf that I brought up earlier, which was through I think season 2 to 3, and then you also have the fact that Robbie was just learning his skills while he goes. Like that was the first time he ever used Cobra Kai. He never trained with Cobra Kai. Even before that fight, he never really like tried to, kind of implement Cobra Kai. It was just in that one fight, and they still stalemated. So I would argue that the Robbie that fought Shawn was just like nerfed by so many things, and even then, this season 4 Robbie would just be way above that season 3 Robbie that stalemated with Shawn.
Repeat that last part.
Um, I was just basically saying that, I'm just gonna like shorten it. Basically, Robbie was fear nerfed while fighting Shawn, and
Wait, no,
also
I heard the fear nerf part, but I need you to repeat like the very last part.
okay, what parts did you hear? So then we can kind of
Okay,
put that in.
I heard you say that there were that season 4 Robbie above Sean in season 3 Robbie, the fear nerf, and he uses Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah, with the Cobra Kai thing. So basically, I was just saying that or not Shawn, sorry, Robbie while fighting Shawn, like just learned Cobra Kai, and he had like literally no experience with Cobra Kai before that fight. Even like that little time frame he had after the crease talk and before the Shawn fight, like he had no experience using Cobra Kai like at all. So I would argue that the Robbie here was nerfed by so many things compared to Kenny, which yeah, he wasn't going all out, but at least in this fight he was experienced and was not nerfed by
Hold
a
on,
fear amp.
wait, hold on. There's so many things wrong. It's like, okay, let me start with this. Like the whole like Robbie above Sean. Like I'm fine with this Robbie being above Sean. But I don't think Kenny really like scales to it in any real significant way because he couldn't tag him at all. Like he dodged some of his attacks, but like I don't think he compares to it so much that would make like Sean's abilities, which I'm going to get into later, like irrelevant. And for the fear nerf thing, it's like okay, I get the whole like Terry Silver fear nerf thing, but it's like even if like without that, when he was applying, and he was like, I guess somewhat like took it out with Kenny. Like Kenny really didn't do anything significant. Like all he did was like dodge and block a few blows from like a Robbie that was like completely like toying around with him. And it's like another thing. He said he was this his first time using Cobra Kai,
Yes.
but bad time. Wait, no, hold on a second, the bad time. If from season 1 to season 2, this nigga was learning Miyagi, and then he was on the street, and then he was in prison, and then Priest came to talk to him about striking first. When the hell did this nigga learn Cobra Cobra Kai? Because you do realize that like Miyagi people can throw punches and kicks too, right? Like you are aware that like using that like Miyagi do karate, even though it's mainly done for defense, like there is moves to actually like hit back. This was shown when Samantha uses it with all of her fights. This was shown in like the later fight, in like the earlier fight in season 2 with Robbie. Like shoot, Robbie was throwing offensive attacks against like Miguel in the season 2 school fight, and that for 100% certainty, the only motherfucking karate that he knew was Miyagi Do.
Yeah.
So this whole he was this is his first time using Cobra Kai was is a horrible.
Okay. So then okay, sure. Miyagi-Do does throw punches. That's kind of blatant because obviously, if you want to win a fight, not only do you have to defend, but you also have to kind of like throw a punch, right? But then you would
Mm-hmm.
also have to consider the fact that Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do, even though you're literally just defending and throwing punches, um, in verse, Cobra Kai Miyagi-Do are just noted to be like just two different things, and another thing to like two different styles. Like even though like here, like like in our perspective, right? Using defensive still means you have to go a little bit offensive, and using offensive means you have to go a little defensive. With these type of things, inverse, it's kind of noted that like these two or things are just like way different from each other. And another thing is that also you would also have to note that in the Shawn fight, Robbie was going way more offensive, which was like kind of Cobra Kai. So he was like kind of like unused to this style of going mostly offensive. It was kind of a new thing to him, which is mostly likely why they
No,
stalemated
it's
and
not.
they fought
No,
Knight.
it's not.
What do you
No, it's
mean?
not.
What do you mean?
No, it's not.
What do you mean?
No, it's
What
not.
do you mean?
Because he had Miyagi Do
Okay.
and he was being offensive with it in the school fight. The only Cobra Kai principle that he used in the Shawn fight was strike first because that's what Kreese told him and that's what was shown. That was the only Cobra Kai principle that Kreese like even somewhat hammered home with him. Because as I mentioned earlier, when he had pure Miyagi Do in season two, he was still fighting like extremely offensively, despite the only martial arts that he has in his repertoire was the defensive Miyagi Do. And he was aggressive. He was angry. He was like extremely pissed off because you know the context of sleeping with
Yeah,
you know
Miguel being a dick.
15
Yeah.
girls and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
Miguel
yes,
being.
you would agree that he was enraged and stuff. So despite all of that, he was using his Miyagi Do karate offensively. So nothing would suggest that he was using like Cobra Kai, something in there because like nothing would because listen like this. If he's already shown to use Miyagi Do in a more offensive manner, like there's nothing to suggest that when he's fighting again more offensively, like why it's not okay. He's using what he did before instead of he randomly all of a sudden learned Cobra Kai and this is his first time using it. Like that's just like what I just said. Is that like the situation of him using like the defensive Miyagi Do is way more likely than him randomly learning Cobra Kai out of the blue. It's way more likely.
Okay. So, okay. So in there's something you will also have to know in the school fight. There was that the only
Okay.
reason why Robbie kind of went offensive, right, was because of that rage amp that he had. Like Miguel was being kind of a dick, being like kind of taunting him and whatnot, and it kind of got him pissed. Which you would also have to note that when you're angry, you may have different type of like thoughts or movements that you never thought you would use before. So I would just argue that despite all this, he still wouldn't be used to like that type of offensive thing because even if we were to throw in the school fight, that's like one out of what like multiple times he fought in season 1 and season 2. It was also considered his focus state in season 1. Like these are like just like rare occurrences where Robbie's going offensive. It's not something he's not used to. That's why Miguel was able to gain an upper hand on him because he was unbalanced, and also why Shawn was able to stalemate him because Robbie just was not used to this new technique that he was given. Yeah.
Okay. The problem is like Robbie has always shown that he can like throw offensive strikes with Miyagi Do, even back in season one. Every fight that Robbie has ever participated in his life in Cobra Kai, he's used like more offensive stuff. Like the level of how offensive it is, like that changes. But he's already like knows what it's like to use like his Miyagi Do in a more offensive way, which was shown like in the school fight. So we know he can use Miyagi Do. We know he can use the offensive moves of it, and we know when he's going all out rage mode in the school fight, he was able to use that at a higher level than it was before, especially with the rage thing. And so with this, what he's doing again is similar to what he did before, using his Miyagi Do in a more offensive way. And like so like I don't think this like really like supports the argument that he like that he was nerfed in the Shawn fight based off him using Cobra Kai. I don't because that was the main thing that you were going on about with that is that like that was his first time using Cobra Kai. We're talking about him using offensive Miyagi Do. Since we're both talking about that, it would like go against you arguing he was using Cobra Kai because that hasn't been shown because Kreese didn't teach him. The only time that he even started to even remotely learn Cobra Kai was all the way in season three after he fought Shawn when he first got out of juvie and crashed with Kreese in the Cobra Kai dojo because he showed him the pause and strike, the Cobra strike. That was the first Cobra Kai move that was ever taught to him. So this is the first time he's ever shown to use or learn the technique of Cobra Kai. It makes no sense that a fight before this he'd be using Cobra Kai. So that claim of him using Cobra Kai in the Shawn fight is impossible.
Uh correct me if I'm wrong. Did you say that in season one he used more offensive moves than defensive moves?
I didn't say that.
Sorry.
I said in season one, he used what he was doing like pure Miyagi Do. Like
Yes.
when he first learned it in the fight with the tournament, that he was shown using offensive strikes and offensive moves. I never said that he used offensive moves more than he used defensive moves. I never said that. I don't know
I'm
where you got that
sorry. That's
from, bro.
that's why I
Weirdo.
asked you. I didn't want to strawman you, man.
Okay, I'm just confused how you heard that. I don't know if all I'm saying. I don't know how you heard that.
I'm sorry. I thought I heard you
Wait,
say like in season one he used more offensive moves than defensive moves. I'm like, wait, what? When? But
no,
guess not.
wait. So wait, can I? Wait, I need to ask you. So like this point of like, so like, can we move on from this point of him using like Cobra Kai in the Shawn fight? Because I want to say some stuff about the other scaling and give my scaling.
Yeah, sure. You know what? Sure. But that wouldn't really ignore the fear nerf neither. But
I understand, but as I was saying earlier, it's like the whole like oh he doesn't have like the fear thing. Like Kenny doesn't really scale to it enough for it to really truly like matter against Shawn. It's because all we know is that he's able to block strikes from this Robbie who went from oh he's just my friend just like oh he's okay he's an opponent let me fight him like I'm not trying to baby him and he dodged and blocked a few hits of toying with him Robbie but then after the fight he wasn't able to do anything to Robbie. He literally swung full force. Couldn't tag him. Literally mid throw, he slapped his back. Did the same thing with his foot later. So he has like one case of like okay, he somewhat kept up the toying with him, Robbie and Speed. But then not only did he still get like stomped out with that, we then have two instances later in the fight where like he tries the same thing and he gets completely bitched. And the thing is, it's like, and then the seconds after that first altercation with that part, that was when he was toying around even more because this man was just letting him swing and just missing, was slapping his back while dodging his attacks and like kicked him in the ass while he dodged like all of his moves. So this is a Robbie who's even more blatantly toying with him, and Kenny can't touch him. So if Kenny does scale to this, he doesn't scale to any like real significant degree. But can I get to my scaling now?
uh, all right, okay, sure. Go on to your scaling.
Okay. So let me get this scan. So let me get my shot. Um, so main thing I'm going because you said that like that shoot. So I'm gonna argue this because you said that like Kenny would probably win overall. Let me take out the first part of the overall thing because the first part of the overall thing like is that like Shawn is like way 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 stronger than freaking Kenny because I'm gonna show this with these scans real quick. So these scans that I'm about to in these few scans we see that like just him rushing Robbie and applying his strength is able to send him almost flying back. Um, let me see if I can like link these like so it's like easy to send. Okay, there it is. Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna get these, and then let me get this one. It's like one show did all that shit. he's able to punch Robbie, and Robbie saw the punch coming, but he couldn't react and got hit. He was able to punch like Robbie so hard, he spun his whole body around 360 degrees. Like in the skins I'm showing you now, he punches him so hard, he's literally spinning like a fucking Beyblade. And like other and like later and like other instances in the fight is like this gets a little blurry, so I'm gonna describe it. So Robbie does like a spinning does like an enraged spinning elbow into Shawn, and Shawn just effortlessly tanks it. Like you can see on his face that it borderline did no damage. And like Shawn even has like a decent speed feat where like he's able to like dodge a punch from Robbie too. Like he completely avoided the punch altogether. And he just like dodge this shit. And like another impressive one is that he was literally strong enough that like when he tackled Robbie because he blitzed Robbie with a tackle and he literally grabbed him and threw him so far he literally was in the air. He literally threw him across the room. The nigga used his arm muscles and to literally send him flying through the air. Like this is Bane throwing Batman through a brick wall. And so another part of my scaling is this, because this was Robbie's face after like a prolonged fight with Shawn. As you as you can see, he has bruises around his eyes. His eyes over there is cut up and bleeding. And like Shawn has like very minimal to no damage on his face. And then if we can then it, so and then if we compare this to Kenny. Kenny like used like a full power punch to Robbie, and Robbie basically just shrugged it off. Like, as you can see, like, he put his whole body into this punch, like his whole fucking body in it, and then Robbie feels the pain for literally a second, and it's just fine. He's like it's like if you buck your toe, it's like then you just walk away. Whereas with what I'm showing with Shawn, one punch is able to send him spinning like a Beyblade. He's able to block like a powered up spinning elbow into this man's stomach and tank it, and able to dodge one of his punches and throw him bodily with it. So basically, the argument is that like potentially if Kenny is like faster, like the speed difference is not that much to where like he won't be able to won't be able to like dodge all of his hits and Shawn will land an attack. Because like it'll be especially easy if Kenny goes for like that low kick that he tried to do when he was going all out against Robbie, and Robbie just punched him. If we see him go for that, if he goes, he's going to get tapped. So yeah, Shawn much stronger, much more durable, and I don't think Kenny has the AP to take him out. That's my main.
Okay.
I don't see Kenny's gonna take him out. The
Okay.
strength gap is too big. They're really too big.
Okay.
Too
So
big.
um, I will agree that Shawn does have better AP than Kenny's AP, but if we go off of the Robbie fight with Kenny, I would argue that Kenny can just take hits from people who are way above Shawn, right? Like
In physicality.
yeah, well, no, like durability, yeah, physicality, durability, I guess, yeah, like that type of like durability. Like Kenny, like was able to casually take hits from like Robbie, who while he was toying with him, he was still taking him seriously. It was not
Hold
like
on.
nerf from fear. What's up?
Okay, wait. Oh, hold on. So how are you gonna tell me whether? Hold on. Let me get this. Because I don't know how you like are telling me that when Robbie punched him, like you can see exactly what I'm talking about. It's like okay, so go to around
Debater, I think you cut off. Debater.
How long was I cutting out?
For like a couple seconds. You were like you're telling me that, and then you just cut off.
What was the last thing you heard me say?
I just told you. You just said you're telling me that, and then you cut off.
What did I say before that?
You literally said you were just grabbing the scan. That was it.
Oh, okay, damn. You didn't hear anything. Okay, let me stop. Jesus, I cut out that long?
Yep.
Okay, so basically, 40 seconds into this, like we see Robbie, we see towing, we see like as you agree, towing around Robbie, like punch him, and he takes like a while to get up. Like he's laying on the ground, he's grunting. But you have to keep in mind this is a tournament, so when he's on the ground like grunting and grumbling, it's like he's just like fucking Robbie doesn't have to like go up on the ground and like MMA this nigga. But Shawn like he's very willing to beat to go basically like ground pound somebody because it's not really like a tournament. So because of that, it's like if he takes that long to get up, if you get the hit from this nigga and he's on the ground this long, like Shawn is literally just going to rush him because we've seen from Shawn that like when his opponent is on the ground, he doesn't wait for him to get up because after the scan where Shawn threw Robbie through the air, Robbie was on the ground, and then did Shawn wait for him to get up? No, he soccer kicked him in the stomach. Like this nigga did not wait. And like yeah, so basically, right? So the entire fight with Robbie and Kenny took two big hits. One hit sent him reeling, like it took him a while to get up. Second hit, one shot him. So explain to me where the casualty part of your argument comes in.
So I do kind of want to know that he did get hit like 3 times, not two. So the first one was like the second.
I'm no. Two big hits from
Oh,
argument.
two big hits. Sorry. Yeah, 2 big hits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I said like he got some love taps, but they weren't really like big hits because you got slap on the back, you got kick in the ass. But I'm talking about like
Yeah.
two. I'm talking about like Robbie hit him with two big hits. The first big hit, he's on the ground, he's wailing like the fucking ref. This is boxing. The ref has to be like 1, 2, 3. The second hit, one shot, fight over, wave it off.
Well, I'll just argue right that let's see here. I think I have the video on my phone too. Let's see.
Hey, the
Uh,
video is right. I posted the video.
no. It's not that.
I don't think the audience needs to
Not
hear
that.
that
It's
many
not that.
times.
Mm.
Honestly.
Okay. Robbie Kenny fighting. I like how the title's just like he's fighting Kenny as like an opponent. Like, wow, I see how it is.
Well, because like as John Kreese stated, like before we started fighting Robbie like an opponent, he said, "Are you fighting your friend or are you fighting your opponent?" Like I'll post that game too.
Yeah. No, I remember
That's
that.
what that's what he asked him because he notices that Robbie. He's like, bro, what the fuck? Robbie is not trying at all. What the hell? He's like, are
Eh.
you fighting your friend or are you fighting your opponent? Because keep in mind, in this fight, like he was holding back in the start, he was holding back even more in his other fights with Kenny. It was crazy. That's why the nigga pulled him to the side and said, "Are you fighting your friend and an opponent?" Because remember, at the start, he didn't even view him as an opponent. He only viewed him as like a normal opponent after Freeze gave him the best stuff because he was holding back that much. And then when he was getting bodied. Took two when Robbie gave him two significant hits. Kenny was either on the ground to barely get up, and the second one he was done. He was just done. It was over. Fight over.
Okay.
It
So
was it.
I'll argue that if Shawn were to rush, right, I would argue that Kenny would also rush. But unlike Shawn, Kenny would use a bit taste of like a Miyagi Do, and Also, Kenny's kind of like faster as well. So I'll just argue that Kenny would just like out blitz and out skill to the point where Shawn kind of gets tired and Kenny would kind of just
But
kind of.
if we're going into the situation that he gets that he gets hit, as you said a minute ago, and since he took a hit from somebody who's not as strong as Sean, that Robbie, he's going to be incapacitated for much longer. Meaning it's going to take him a while. It's going to take him a while to get up. Because even with Robbie, it took a minute to get up. That means he's going to rush. He's not going to be thinking about using Miyagi to be reeling in pain. And you'd have to prove that like if he's getting like overwhelmed that badly, then he's going to try and use Miyagi Do like that because that's never been shown. None of Kenny's fights ever demonstrate him doing that. Not
Okay,
when he sucker punched Tyler. Not when he beat the fuck out of Anthony Russo, and definitely not when he was fighting Robbie at all. Like
okay.
him using like Miyagi Do in the way that you were saying in the situation that you're saying.
Now there's one issue. There's a couple issues. So you brought up 3 fights where you didn't use Miyagi Do. Now when he punched Kyler, well, that was your first one, right? You said about Kyler, right? Uh, that was the first fight you brought
Let me
up.
see. I think you misunderstood what I'm saying. But go on.
Okay, so then you brought up 3 fights, Kyler, and then when he beat up Anthony, and then Robbie. Now the thing is what with Kyler, he had no knowledge on Miyagi Do yet. Um, Robbie was kind of just teaching him about Cobra Kai and how like his own lessons, right? That was the first thing. So like, how is he supposed to use something he didn't know? The second thing
Okay.
is, oh wait, no, I was just like, I'm gonna bring all of them up at once. Um, the second thing was Anthony, which why would you have to go defensive if your opponent's not gonna punch you at all? Because remember when he was beating the crap out of Anthony, he like
Mm-hmm.
he clearly had the upper hand and was beating the living dog shit out of him
Mm-hmm.
because Anthony just couldn't defend himself. So
Mm-hmm.
like Kenny technically had like no point to defend
Okay,
himself
time out,
because
time
he's
out, time out, time out,
go
time
what's
out.
up.
Someone's calling me. Hold on.
Oh, all right.
Sorry, the bank was called. The stupid bank called. What were you saying?
Okay, so you heard the Kyler thing I said, right?
I heard the Kyler thing
Did you
and
hear
I
the?
heard the Anthony thing.
Okay, so now I'm going on to the Robbie thing. Anthony was just basically like, why would you need to
Mm-hmm.
defend if you like not getting attacked at
Wait,
all?
before you get to the Robbie thing, it's like okay, the points that you said is not bad, but the problem is that like because like the Kyler thing, okay, sure, that's fine, but that doesn't really defeat what I'm saying because what I'm saying is that like in his fights that like he generally like doesn't use Miyagi Do in the way that you're saying because you said that like if he gets into that situation that Robbie I mean that he's going to use like Miyagi Do to sweep him or get out of it. But the main thing I'm saying is that like he doesn't really use Miyagi Do like that much, and he's never like used Miyagi Do when he's in like a that much of a disadvantageous situation that he hasn't used Miyagi Do. He just hasn't. So because and even when he's going all out, so if he's not using that when he's using his full capabilities, what is to suggest that he's going to use it here?
So basically, with the whole Kyler thing, basically,
Why are you bringing up the color thing? No,
uh,
no, wait, don't bring up the color thing. Like
I thought you
I
brought
already
up.
said, I already said like the color thing is fine. I don't have any issues
Oh, sorry,
with
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Sure, he didn't have Miyagi Do. He didn't have Miyagi Do when he fought Color. Yeah,
yeah,
that was my mistake. But even without that, that doesn't like stop what I'm trying to say.
yeah. And then the Anthony thing too, but I'm not gonna bring that up because I think that should be pretty obvious that Anthony was just getting his ass beat because Anthony sucks. And then
Well, I
then
only bring it up because like I don't see him like using Miyagi. That's a side point.
is the
The
Robbie.
main thing is that like the Robbie thing, him being put in a situation like that and not showing using Miyagi. That is the main. That is the relevant point.
Okay, so then you have the Robbie thing, which I do want to kind of bring up, is that um when he got punched, you would also have to consider the fact that in a tournament, once you get punched, that's the point, and nobody can do anything. So why would Kenny need to use Miyagi Do after getting punched if it's not like Robbie's gonna punch him again until the next round? Like that was like the whole thing. Like we're just
Well,
yeah, sorry.
the thing is right is that like is it like I get as a like I get what you're saying, right? But it's like one, this is not a tournament situation, and two, it's like I understand what you're saying. So like, oh, it's a tournament, he got punched. Why would he use Miyagi Do then? Think of it like this: like if Kenny got put on the ground and before a punch is scored, which has happened before in the tournament, like Allah with Ali with not Ali, Allah with Robbie and Hawk when Robbie got Hawk on the ground. It's like it's like Kenny hasn't been in that situation, so like he hasn't demonstrated that he actually like use Miyagi Do like that way because there's kind of like because for the situation that you're talking about, there's kind of like no evidence that if he got in that situation, like that's what he would use because like there's not really like anything to suggest that that would happen because it's never really like happened to him before, but you're like asserting that it is, and it's like keep in mind like Kenny really hurt, not thinking straight. Shawn from Robbie, weaker than Shawn, who's yeah, so it's going to be even longer. That's another thing you got to take into account.
Did you say that Robbie was weaker than Shawn?
In strength wise, yes.
Why?
I
I'm sorry.
I
I'm sorry.
look
No, no,
above
no.
like
Because no, because you said no, no, no. Because your whole AP point was upscaling Shawn from a season 3 Robbie, not a season 4 Robbie. So I want to hear why you think
what?
that Shawn's
Oh,
stronger than a
okay.
season 4
What? No,
Robbie.
no, no. Okay. Wait. No. Answer this. Answer this. It's like what fight? Who did Robbie fight in season 4 that was like that was like stronger like physically than Shawn that he didn't just get his ass beat by? Because like when he
Eli.
because no no Eli's not like physically stronger than like they scale with their like strikes. And I'm talking about like the physical strength that's there. Their physical strength is around like relative, and what they were mainly like training for that was for their skills. They wouldn't be trained to be like big strong. They're trained to be like really skilled. Like this dude is just big strong, and he punches so hard he can make people like this. Like who's not like you know somehow like Super Saiyan evolved to where like he like effortlessly like outstrength Shawn. Uh, so yeah, it's like I don't see like what training he did that would like make him all of a sudden like stronger than Shawn. When the main thing he was like training was his skill. Like I don't see like the relevance of it. And by the way, like even if you prove that Robbie is physically stronger than Shawn, it doesn't matter because Kenny does not scale to Robbie's strength. So you can argue this, but it wouldn't help you. But even if you win this part, it wouldn't help you
Okay.
because Kenny don't scale to Robbie's strength.
Okay. So issue I never. Well. Okay. So I would just argue because with Cobra Kai or just like when I say Cobra Kai I mean the verse right now. In Cobra Kai, it should be noted that Miyagi Do and the dojo Cobra Kai don't only go off of their skill but also what they kind of represent. And Miyagi Do kind of represents defense, and Cobra Kai slash Eagle Fang represents offense and whatnot. So
Mm-hmm.
so not only are like Cobra Kai slash Eagle Fang training to be really skilled at stuff, they're also training to be kind of strong and punch harder. Or their main thing is strike first, strike hard, no mercy. So they're trying to strike not just first, but also really, really hard. So
That's
I
a
would
fair point, but it's
yeah.
like this. But the problem, but the issue with that is that like they were mainly like scaling. They were mainly like going for strength because they were training for a tournament where you just have to like hit them quickly and fast and fast. So it was a lot for their skill and then like you can train to strike hard. Like okay, like look at this. You can train to strike harder, but it's like if you or to be stronger, but if you haven't like shown to have like the same level of strength as somebody else, you training for that doesn't really matter because you haven't shown like you're like stronger than this dude because like he hasn't because like the gap between Robbie and like Shawn was really big. Remember one punch spins around like Beyblade, throws him across the room. It's like when Robbie fights the other members of either Cobra Kai, Miyagi Do, Eagle Fang, Miyagi Fang, like the strength difference is not so bad. Where like this nigga basically bench presses this nigga through the air, or like punches him, or like shoves him like halfway around the room, and like overpowers him constantly with just physical strength, because that's the power that Shawn has. You want to just point to the you want to wrap this point soon?
The judges. There
I mean,
was.
we go to judge, I think, but
Yeah, we can
but
do that. You want to
like
move it to the judges?
um, sure, just you can give your conclusion.
Oh yeah.
Because I pretty much I pretty much I'm just gonna say my last things about this.
Okay.
It's like about this point. My last things about this point is like I've shown why like the gap in strength between like Shawn and the rest of the Cobra Kai kids it's massive, because like Robbie, when he fights everyone else, is not showing the same level of strength gap. Actually, I'm just going to conclude altogether. My conclusion for the start, for what I think, basically, I think Shawn will win, because I shown why Robbie wasn't really like using like his full like power and full seriousness, or all seriousness, like Bad Time was saying, like, and he agreed with me when he said, "Oh yeah, he was toying with him." So he agreed with it. And so like so the problem is that for Bad Time, like a lot of his scaling like depended on like Kenny like scaling to Robbie. But the problem is that like Kenny doesn't really scale to Robbie, because yeah, he got like a few decent like blocks in against the towing one, but then like literally seconds after that, he can't touch Robbie at all. Like none, like he can't touch him at all. And then regarding the durability point, I feel like I won that, because basically I showed how my nigga was like stronger than Kenny. Bad Time agreed that Shawn was stronger than Kenny. He tried to say that like, oh, he tanks hits and some people that are way stronger than Shawn. It's like I don't really think he did, because he's saying, oh, they train to strike hard and strike this, but he didn't really like quantify that, like, oh, they train for this and this and this made up the difference. He didn't really like quantify it. And then basically, yeah. So even if Robbie is stronger than Shawn, Kenny doesn't scale, because every time Robbie hit him with a big punch or big hit, Kenny was basically done. And like Bad Time either like failed to like truly address it, or didn't like address it that well, in my opinion. And I also showed that like Kenny using his full power only like slightly made Robbie feel a little bit of pain, and he instantly got up, compared to like when Shawn was fighting Robbie, was throwing him all over the place. And basically, yeah, he's going on about his speed. Um, I think the speed gap is not so big that like Kenny like will just dodge all of Shawn's attacks. Like I don't think the speed gap is that big, because like the real quantifiable difference between season 3 and season 4 wasn't like given like a real quantification. Like he didn't give a number or anything like that. He just said, "Oh, they train to strike hard and strike fast." They didn't really like give like a real quantification. And then the part of Bad Time's premise, which was why he mentioned skill, which he kind of mentioned, but I don't think it really like came across, because he mentioned the Miyagi Do thing, and he couldn't prove that like if he was put in this exact situation, he would use Miyagi Do. So I think I won this.
My
But
turn.
use Miyagi Do, use Miyagi Do in the way that would like stop Kenny from getting like bull rushed if he gets like hit on the ground and then is being grounded. He didn't like Beckham didn't like provide that evidence. So yeah, my conclusion is that.
Now kind of go on my conclusion. Um,
Yep.
Now, I will say that I do think that yeah, Shawn will probably have more like strength over Kenny. That was probably like the only like advantage that I would probably agree with in this fight, because it's kind of blatant that Shawn is big, strong, and that was the whole point of the prison thing. But I think I provided good enough stuff to like show that not only would Kenny like kind of dodge him, because we both would kind of agreed that Kenny would have like a speed gap. While not big, he still could kind of like blitz Shawn. But
I
not
didn't
only that,
agree he could blitz.
no, I know, like, it wasn't like a huge gap, but it was still something.
You said no. You said I agreed that like it was a blitz. I never agreed to that. I never agreed it was a blitz. What I was saying with the speed is that like sure Kenny might have like a slight speed gap, but like it's not enough to where like Shawn can't like tag Kenny and take him out with his AP and stuff. I never agreed with you that that Kenny could blitz him. I never said that. I never did.
Okay, fine. Okay, let me reword that then, because blitzing can like mean in multiple different ways, even if it's kind of short speed. But
You said
uh,
speed blitz.
yeah, speed blitz could mean
That has
both of
one
those things.
definition.
But let me just reword myself. Okay, let me just reword myself. Um, now for like other advantages, basically like Kenny, while I guess in debaters' eyes wouldn't blitz, we both agree that Kenny would technically have a little speed advantage, like not a huge one, obviously. That's like kind of be a little bit faster. So I think overall what would kind of happen is like Kenny would just not just dodge, but also kind of like block the whole time until like Shawn kind of kind of wears out and whatnot. Um, and also skill, wow, yeah, I didn't really bring it up as much. I think that's like that skill part's kind of irrelevant to like my overall premise, because skill was kind of just an example of multiple things that I brought up. So I don't think skill's like a huge relevancy to my premise. So basically in conclusion, I think I won this debate via having higher speed. Oh, I forgot to bring up about the durability. I do think I provided enough evidence to show that the Robbie that fought Kenny was better than the Robbie that fought Shawn and stalemated Shawn via like fear nerfs and whatnot. So in conclusion, I think I won this debate because I was able to show Kenny having better speed, durability, and his overall skill over Shawn, to the point where Shawn probably just couldn't hit him because of his good defenses and his good dodging. Corn, you can judge now.
Corn
Well,
gravity.
actually, Gravity was here the whole time as well. I think Debater's cool with it, but you care if he judges as well? He can go first. Because he was like the only. Are you cool with him as well, Badtime? Like Gravity?
Oh, gravity can judge. Yeah, I have no contentions.
Next
Okay.
choice is fine.
All right. Well, my judgment, after hearing you two go at it, I would have to say I think Debater won this one for a couple reasons, mostly because of the strength and via showing Shawn's fight with Robbie, as well as you have the agreed upon. Even though there would be a speed gap, there wouldn't really be enough to really end the world, and just he represented Shawn a little bit better, I think, overall. Though not to give Badtime credit, he was constantly adapting, evolving his arguments, and keeping up with Debater. But I think overall, I have to lean with Debater more often than not at the end of this debate.
All right, Corn. Corn O'Keefe. The Verity King.
O'Keefe Premium. Oh,
Yeah. So for me, well, real quick, Gravity, what would you say the diff would be on your end?
I would say, based on how it was going, probably uh, maybe low mid, high low, somewhere in there.
All right. So for my judgment, I would say Badtime throughout the debate was actually adapting very well. I do think he was like, in a sense, keeping up. I don't think there was like any clear stomp at all. and I do actually think some of the arguments he presented were interesting. Pretty good ways to go about it. Although, again, talking about the adaptation, Debater also adapted accordingly. He really didn't allow himself to get bamboozled or, just so to speak. He didn't really like slip up per se. I don't think either one of you slipped up in that regard per se. I do think Debater capitalized on stuff a little bit more where it was important. And as for the speed, obviously, it wasn't necessarily a blitz. I do recall as well. He didn't actually like straight up, agree to like, a blitz, because obviously, you all really didn't establish that. Like, people have different ideas of what a blitz is. There's obviously standard battle. There's different tiering systems, so y'all didn't really touch up on that. So it is more of like a legitimate, like unquantifiable speed gap, but a speed advantage nonetheless. Although, with that being said, I don't think that puts Shawn at an inherent disadvantage per se. And here's what we're getting at. So the strength, I do think that's going to help. And now it was brought up. I like this little combo of, okay, the speed, the outskill, and like potential. Like, he brought up the possibility, I believe, of like outlasting, if I recall. And like, and like Kenny has like his own endurance showings, and you would try to outlast. And I do like that was brought up. Y'all were kind of like going back and forth on that a little bit. So, was there any type of a quantification given for like any type of stamina or how long it would take for that to happen, or not?
No,
Yeah, there wasn't any quantification for the stamina. There really wasn't.
There was
I mean,
no quantification
I
for
didn't argue it
anything,
because
bro.
like I didn't think it would go to stamina, but like unfortunately, Badtime didn't really quantify the stamina.
Yeah, like
He just
nobody
said, "Oh, you
really
just don't know."
like we didn't really quantify like any gap for any like stat. Like we just kind of just said, oh yeah, they're stronger. Oh yeah, they're faster. Oh yeah, they have more stamina. So
It's
I
like,
think I showed a gap. I think I showed a gap with the strength and the Dura though.
well, here's all right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got what I need to know. That's fine. But here's what I'm saying. So I appreciate that from both y'all. And like, here's the thing. So with that, I don't think that inherently invalidates that being a possibility. Although I do think that kind of hinders its likelihood compared to other possibilities. Like, if there was some type of like any like other type of extrapolations, details on certain things in that regard, like, I do think that could have made it a more likelihood, but we obviously can't add more arguments now. But going off I do think that in a way helps the weight of the heavier hitter in this situation. I do that kind of tips it in his scale a tad bit more, as it would be more convincing. It seems more reasonable and logical to say, yeah, like the guy who's that much larger, who's a little bit more established in terms of the strength difference, I think that's a little more likely, to be honest, to help him rather than like this little bit of a speed edge. And like, I mean, unquantifiably, like, I don't even know how much more, like, what the skill would even really. There really wasn't much to like showcase. It's just some like godly difference that we just let him like just judo flip this dude and just finesse him. So I would just say, like, this is actually a really fun debate, really good. I actually think in terms of like diff and for what it's worth and what Badtime really put in, I say it's a solid like mid to high mid, honestly. Like high into high mid, but I'd say Debater takes it more often than not, with mid up to like high mid, to be on high into mid diff.
All right. GG Badtime, good debate.
yo, GG. Oh my god. That was
Yeah, I'm
fun.
impressed.
Hey, Corin, should we just like even it out and just say like mid diff overall then for difficulty?
I mean, sure. If that's like, yeah, that kind of meets in the middle because you said like high low to like low mid, and I said
I'd
like,
probably lean more low mid now. So yeah, probably definitely
all
lean
right,
in.
I'll put in the verdicts chat then.
Oh my god, that was so
that's
much
not
fun.
bad, honestly.
Yeah, Badtime didn't do bad. It was pretty fun actually.
It was fun to
Yeah, I'm
listen to.
happy for you, to be honest. Like, we enjoyed it. Like, wait till you see comments.